Hi everybody and welcome back to Nothing Fancy Video. Today we are doing our second Akashic Record reading for questions. Unfortunately, there was no questions on the last Akashic Record reading post to actually go in and find out. So I've already opened the records and I wanted to show you something that I got today. Now this is going to be, some of you may have heard of this. I went down to a local store and bought a few new cards for the reading on Friday for a cup and a card. As you can see, I got all my cups up there. But they called it Kryptonite. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. It's glowing. I thought that was pretty cool. So let's go into and ask a couple of questions because these are some of the things that, of course, were always on my mind and being a business owner. So we're going to ask one of the questions of how does one go about deciding if they should actually start their own business or not? So how does one decide? Okay. Okay. There's lots of times when people get angry and upset over current situations. They don't feel like they have enough money. They don't feel like they have enough time. They don't feel like they're doing what they are called to do. How does one decide? One should not decide to start their own business out of spite. One should not decide to start their own business out of a instant, it's not need, it's, what is that? Desperation. Starting businesses should be defined, talked about, collaborated with. So if you have a partner or spouse or maybe just a really good friend, okay. When we're starting a business, we need to make sure that we understand why we're doing it. There's plenty of people who start businesses and stop within a couple of weeks because, one, they have not planned, they don't really understand what they're trying to do, they don't fully understand how to make sure that it's completely legal. Okay. So there's many. Okay. All right. Hang on just a second. They're just going too fast. Okay. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Okay. First of all, it's good to research your birthday. And that's one of the reasons why in some of the zodiac birthday readings, I put in their professions, because sometimes people are like, I just don't feel like I'm really where I should be. And so being able to have an option of a different profession, now then you can decide if that is worth starting your own business or not. Sometimes if you are feeling that things are unethical where you are at, it is best to start a business. However, you have to make sure that your business is going to be on the ethical side. Clearly defining who it is that you are wanting to help or do. Maybe you are making a product that's going to help people, but it's making sure you have all the legal things in order to do so. There are so many inventors who have invented products that are literally for the better of humanity, and because they didn't get their patent, or because they failed to write the idea down, because they just some little very minute factor is what keeps them from keeping that patent or product and really, doing what they wanted it to do. Be clear about who it is that you're helping. Be clear about what it is that you want to be able to do. I mean, I understand why, when people are getting like, okay, we're going to be using the law of attraction. How do we start using this? And you got to get really clear. And how do you get really clear, right? That is one of the biggest struggles that I had when I started into my businesses. I mean, it always felt like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to learn all these techniques and then I'll just be like a Walmart of energy work. And really, that's not what the world needs. The world needs very specific items and very specific people to be able to do said things. Not everybody's meant to be a card reader. Not everybody's meant to be a lawyer. Not everybody's meant to be a doctor. Not everybody's meant to be a school teacher or an accountant or, a coach. However, there's plenty of people who, like, seriously, they get into customer service and they're a waitress, and that is where they shine. Like, people flock to them. Their tables are always full. You just feel so good around them. They have this way of making you feel so, at peace when you're there. And that kind of stuff. You go to a physician and you're like, oh my gosh, I just love that physician. They talk to me, they make me feel good, I feel like I'm being heard. Or, oh, I go to a counselor and I just feel like I'm able to work through stuff. Or I have a tutor that is helping me through math. So in deciding what kind of business or if you should start one, first of all, list out all the things that you are passionate about and then start narrowing it down. The other thing that you can do, they are saying, is you can do a hand analysis. The shape of the hand can also give you tips or hints as to what practice or field or whatever you could go into in order to do something new. Okay, so there's a couple of things that can help with that if you are trying to decide whether or not you're going to start a new business. Oh, that's funny because so what I'm kind of hearing is that there's a lot of people that are like, okay, well, YouTube and Instagram and, TikTok and all this stuff. What I am seeing from the records is you will get out of it what you put into it. There's a lot of people that offer YouTube advice, and there's a lot of people who have been on YouTube for a very long, long time, and it has taken them years in order to establish what they have. So be prepared. Sometimes you can get something that is right off the bat that everybody is looking for, and that is fantastic. Other times, just be prepared for the work because, when we start into things, action is always one of the top priorities. It keeps us getting what we want to be able to get. And as long as we're doing the action towards those things, we should be able to see some sort of a payoff. Is your first YouTube channel going to be successful? I don't. I personally do not know. It is about how much effort you put into it. The other thing is it's like there are niches that everybody can find to grow their channels and everything like that. So that's good. Oh, that's interesting. What I'm seeing is that because the winter months are here and people are going to be spending a little bit more time indoors, these are times that you can have an extra few minutes to be able to figure out both of those things, actually, they're saying. Because, I mean, oh, okay. One of the things that I'm getting from the records for this particular week is, and this has, I think it has it's got the common traits of the other two things. It's just a different aspect of them, and that's the financial side. Sometimes it is people think that they need to go out and spend all this money. The Akashic Records are very clear about being able to not extend yourself in those ways. It's about higher, so it's about making sure that sometimes you just have to start where you're at and then being able to just use what you have until you can do better. I mean, knowing my limits helps me be able to just get the information out. The way I'm doing this is not for everybody, because like some people are just much better at thumbnails and intros and extras and all that kind of stuff. I, however, just am not. And quite frankly, it's not something that interests me. I would rather just get on here and do the video, and then just get it out there, because that's my level. And now, could that change? Yeah, it could change. If I feel or am pushed or instructed to do different, I will do so. But for right now, it is all about just getting the information out there. Maybe you are a person that can do thumbnails for people that struggle like me, and that could be something that you start as a business. Who knows? There's so many possibilities is what I'm seeing. There's so many possibilities. It really is just you deciding, you figuring out what you're passionate about, and then also doing something that doesn't cost a fortune for you to get into. No bondage required. No bondage required. That is what really the message is, and honestly, like, that is some of the struggles that we have, is trying to be able to maintain budgets and everything like that. So being able to do something that is within your price range, I mean, honestly, like, do that. I waited till there was a school sale, and went and got me a bunch of notebook tablet papers, and that's what I'm using to do all of my readings for the birthdays, is because, like, in this, like, I am learning more and more about the zodiac too, so I'm being able to expand my gift just a little bit more. That's very interesting. I like it though. Okay, so that is what we're getting from the Akashic Records today. Please stay tuned and stay with me while I close the records, and then we'll talk for just a brief minute more, and then I'll let you get back to what you were doing. We thank the Akashic Record keepers, teachers, instructors for their love and light. The records are now closed, amen. The records are now closed, amen. The records are now closed, amen. Oh my gosh, I just love being able to do that. I love being able to learn things that I am passionate about. As you can see, look at all this. Like, I got on my cuffs so that we can do a cup of card and a reading on Friday, which I'm very excited about. And so for my subscribers, like and subscribe, get on to the last A Cup of Card, a reading, and post a question, and we'll do a reading this coming Friday on your questions. And I'm looking forward to it. Now, if you have a question that you would like answered in the Akashic Records, then please list it in the comments. Last time that we did that was just the first time, so this is the second video. Now you can kind of see that there's a little bit more variety of things that you can ask. And we'll just see what we can get. Sometimes we'll get a lot of information, and sometimes we'll get just a little bit, and sometimes nothing. And so I'm always very curious to see how it works and everything like that. So if you have a question that you would like answered next Wednesday on the Akashic Record reading, then make sure you list it on this comment in this video. And please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the thumbs up, because this is a new channel. I'm getting organized. Please bear with me. I look forward to seeing and, getting more questions. Like, it's going to be fun. So thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.